In this video lecture, we're going to talk about algebraic expressions. Our objective, we want to evaluate those algebraic expressions. Evaluate, we want to find the value of. Okay, let's first define what an algebraic expression is. An algebraic expression is a combination of variables and numbers using the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, as well as powers and roots. Well, how about some examples? Okay, so let's take a look at 3 examples. Here's an algebraic expression, 3x minus 6. Combination of letters and numbers. And the operations involved here, we have multiplication and we have subtraction. Okay, here's another example, 2L plus 2W. Some of you may notice that this is how you find the perimeter of a rectangle. You take twice the length and you add it to twice the width. And finally, a third example, how about 9/5 times C plus 32. And some of you may recognize this is how you convert from degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. You take 9/5 of the Celsius temperature and you add 32 to that product to get the Fahrenheit temperature. One of the things I want to note here that's important to understand, an expression does not have an equal sign. You'll notice none of these 3 expressions has an equal sign. And so when you're dealing with expressions, don't add one in just because. It doesn't have an equal sign, so don't put an equal sign in there because that tends to confuse things for most students. Okay, a couple more words to define. Let me shift up a little bit here. What is a term? Well, the term is a part of an algebraic expression. Terms are separated by addition. All right, let's make a note of an example here. How about the algebraic expression 7x minus 9y minus 3? Okay, if you'd like, since we have here that terms are separated by addition, we can rewrite the subtraction here using addition, because of course subtracting is simply adding the opposite. So we could rewrite this expression as 7x plus negative 9y plus negative 3. And now you can see the 3 terms here, and they're separated by addition. A couple notes to this. The first term, 7x, and the second term, negative 9y, are algebraic terms because they have letters in them. Okay, so those 2 terms are algebraic, which leaves this last term, this third term of negative 3. It doesn't have a letter, so negative 3 is a numerical. It's only a number. It's a numerical term, or you could say it's a constant. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about, we want to define, is the word factor. A factor can be both, the word factor, can be both a noun and a verb. We're going to define it here as a noun. One or more numbers and or letters that are multiplied together to get a product. Okay, an example will help here. Let's take the expression 1/2 base BH. 1/2 BH, which some of you may recognize, and I said the word base. 1/2 times B times H, 1/2 times base times height is how you find the area of a triangle. This is a product. So we have one or more numbers or letters that are multiplied together. We got a product. It's a product of 1/2 times B, which in this case stands for the base, times H. So 1/2 the B and the h are factors because they are multiplied together to get this product. These three pieces are factors. All right. Now let's get to our objective. Let's talk about evaluating algebraic expressions. To evaluate, to find the value of an algebraic expression, we want to replace or substitute the variable with the given number. So here's my first example. Let's evaluate this algebraic expression, x squared plus 4x minus 7, for when x equals negative 5. Okay, so again, this is an expression. There's no equal sign here. We want to evaluate this expression. What is the value of this expression when negative 5 is put in for x? My recommendation, strong recommendation, is you replace the letter with parentheses. So I simply put parentheses instead of the x here and here. This is important so you don't lose negative signs. People lose negatives, and this will help keep track of that for you so you won't lose the negative. Now let's put negative 5. Let's replace the x with negative 5. And now we're here, and this is simply a calculator problem, or you can do it by hand if you want to, but I'll use a calculator. And I think I got my calculator in there. I'm in my TI-84, and I can just copy this exactly as written. Open parenthesis, negative 5, close parenthesis squared, plus 4, open parenthesis, negative 5, close parenthesis, minus 7, and I get the number negative 2. And so the value of this algebraic expression when x is negative 5 is negative 2. Let's take a look at a second example. One more example here. Evaluate 2x plus 3y divided by x minus 2 for when x is negative 2 and y is negative 1. Again, I strongly recommend replace the letters with parentheses so you don't get confused or lose track of negative signs. People lose negatives. So this is x minus 2. So that the first thing I did is I simply rewrote this, and I put parentheses in place of these letters. I have 3 letters, 2 x's and a y, so I have 3 parentheses. Now, this was an x, so I'll put negative 2 in there. This was an x, I'll put negative 2 in there. This one replaced a y, so I'll put negative 1 in there. And now I'm back to my calculator. I'm going to use the fraction bar feature of my calculator because that'll help me again follow the order of operations. So for me, it's a green key, top left, F1, the ND. Okay, so again, I'll just copy what I see here. The numerator, 2 open, negative 2 close parenthesis, plus 3 open parenthesis, negative 1 close parenthesis. The denominator is open parenthesis, negative 2 close parenthesis, minus 2. And I always kind of move my cursor out of the way to the left, press enter, and it looks like the value of that expression is 7/4. So this turns out to be 7/4. So there you have it, how to evaluate algebraic expressions. I will once more stress, it is very helpful to make use of parentheses when you go in to replace and substitute so that you don't lose track of negatives and so that you can use your calculator and get the correct answer.